ultimately what matters is that what would be the impact of demonetization, what are going to be the revenue implications of that for the tax department, and if yes, what will happen to the revenue and the direct tax collection this year. Since the demonetization is still an ongoing process, the deadline is still 30th of December, you don't know what could be the final big picture. But numbers say that about $80 to $85 billion has already come into banks. Some of that could be accounted for, some of that could not be accounted for. So let's understand the implications of this for the IT department, and what are the tools and what IT department officials can do wherever the deposits are slightly questionable. To answer that, I've got Mr. DS Saksena, former Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax. Mr. Saksena, good morning and thank you for joining us. So straight off, let me launch into the most important question. How much of revenue gain do you think could happen largely because of demonetization via penalties on defaulters?
Actually, penalties will kick in only after the assessment is made. So the return for this year would be due in the next year in July and September. After that, assessment would be made, and after that only penalty would be levied. So it would be a long process, and in the present financial year there is no scope for any gain from penalty or even from the additions which would be made in the assessments.
So, to your mind, how is the cost benefit analysis shaping up from a taxation perspective?
I foresee that in the next year tax collection would go up sharply. Firstly, because GST would kick in, and GST would mean greater compliance, because a product right from the beginning, it was a raw material. The life of a product will be cracked, and there would be more sales which would be disclosed in the books of account. So taxes would automatically go up because of implementation of GST. Secondly, because there would be a lot of white money in the economy, more transactions will be reflected, and there would be much lesser transactions which would not be known to the department. Hence, on the account of these two things, tax collections would go up sharply in the financial year 2017-18.
Right. So has the IT department then started sending notices to public post demonetization, and do we have the operational machinery, sir, in place to conduct such widespread inquiries?
Actually, public is being sensitized about not disclosing others' cash, not depositing others' cash, and the government is saying that we'll have the Benami Transaction Prohibition Act after them. So far as the machinery of the government is concerned, Income Tax Department is short of manpower by around 30%, and President and Prime Minister Modi has made a declaration that he would recruit 1 lakh more people. So I think if there is some added manpower, probably we'll be able to tackle the challenge which would be thrown up by demonetization.
So market is expecting a tax relief for the ordinary taxpayer in wake of huge collections. The threshold may be hiked from 2.5 to 5 lakhs. The rate could be rationalized. Do you think there is going to be some thinking on those lines?
I don't think that such a large hike in the threshold is possible, because so many people would go away from the tax net. So far as rationalization of the rates is concerned, if you look at the rates from 1991 onwards, we have only 3 slabs, 10%, 20% and 30%. They have been kept constant. Only the threshold limit has been increasing, and that is because of inflation. Every year there's some inflation and the threshold goes up every year. But to say there would be so I don't believe that any more rationalization of the rates is required. If you look from the worldwide perspective, our rates are very, very low compared to the rates of other developed countries like the US and Western Europe. So I don't think that rates would go down much.
Mr. Saksena, thank you so much, sir, for taking the time out and really clarifying, some of those rumors which are on in social media or some of the WhatsApp chats. And that's a categorical message coming in from Mr. Saksena that IT department will only be sending notices post-June, which is when all of us are already done filing our income tax returns. And more importantly, he says that the income tax department is short of staff by good 30%. So, all that you're seeing on WhatsApp messages or on social media is all hype and rumor.